bump, but I feel like it's picked right back up.
Yeah. So, Brian, let's jump into different ways to explain the process for buyers and sellers. Kind of want to use this time as a collaboration to figure out how we're, well, let's talk about this. Is a great lead into, how are you handling buyers right now? What are you helping them negotiate through when it comes to writing an offer? What are some of the techniques and tools you're using to get them the best, best foot forward instead of being second best, Sarah?
I know.
Well, so on second best,
I'd rather be like fifth best, then I feel like I didn't even have a shot. Second best, like that's just hurts way worse.
So second best, first loser.
Second best is the first loser, man.
You gotta be the fifth loser?
I'd rather be the fifth loser.
I don't know about that.
What? Yeah, so Sarah, what with that offer second best, what did you guys write that kind of got you to at least second best, but not to the top?
So honestly, what it boiled down to is, and it was a kind of a weird situation. The people who lived in the house were tenants. She's an older lady. It sounded like maybe going into like a care home. So they put it on the market. I actually brought buyers out there, and there was no interior pictures in the listing. And so I at least had the, thought that, while I'm here, I should do a quick video walkthrough. So I did a quick video walkthrough. It was probably not my greatest video walkthrough because like the tenants were there and I was there with other buyers and it felt really awkward, but I kind of squeezed it in and didn't video, too much stuff that would have been not appropriate. And then they actually like closed down showings. They were like, please write your offers basically sight unseen. We can't get people in for showings. And I think it boiled down to the fact that I wrote an offer for people who had video toured it. And I think that there was buyers that owned a property across the street. And I think that they thought that was just a more of a sure bet.
So what did you write? Over ask price, waive contingencies, anything like that?
Didn't waive contingencies. They had a super fabulous down payment. I did convey, I'm like, they can put up to 50% down. They're super well qualified. I had a pre-qual letter for a different house I wrote an offer on that they also didn't get, that was in like the 800,000 range. So like, I think that I really showed they were very well qualified. I think some of it was kind of a weird situation. And unfortunately, I feel like my buyers were penalized for not having seen it, even though the listing agent was basically like, no more showings.
Yeah. Well, Brian, what are you seeing in your market? What do you like when it comes to buyers writing an aggressive offer? What do you guys have to do right now, especially in the, Dallas, Fort Worth there? I know you guys pretty hot market down there too.
Yeah. Well, it's somewhat hot. A good house is definitely hot. But houses that aren't desirable are just sitting. So on the hot homes, I don't know how it translates, but the buyer's going to pay for title. The buyer's not going to ask for a home warranty. The buyer's going to have what we call here an option period, but maybe inspection is going to have a minimal inspection period. If you're going to offer over, you definitely want to see an appraisal waiver, which is, I think, what you were calling something else just a minute ago.
Yep.
But yeah, all the standard things you guys are probably doing there. And then I just find relationship building. If I can't get that listing agent on the phone in a multiple offer situation, I know our chances are limited, right? Because they're just going straight for numbers. So if I can't, it's all about getting that listing agent on the phone. That's another big part of it.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah, so I'll touch on both those things from my experience just this weekend. One, so when I said appraisal gap, the sellers or the buyers are willing to cover the difference to a certain amount. So if the house price is at $350 and they offered $370, they're willing to give $20,000 to offset that appraisal. But yeah, there was I agree with you on that, because I've been on both sides of that situation as a buyer. If I can't get a hold of that agent, it's kind of frustrating, because, you want to find out what you can do to make that offer the strongest offer possible without getting into a lot of details. But even as a selling agent this weekend, I made it a point to talk to every agent that reached out to me. Not even if they reached out to me in a text message, I called them back, because it's that relationship building. It's, because you never know when your path's going to cross again. And B, if you have to go back to that agent and be like, hey, what are the chances you can, give me a little more on this offer, and this offer is good. And that's exactly what I did this weekend, is I got my buyers $5,000 more because, we had that offer for $395 on the table. So, I agree. Like, building that relationship and that communication is huge from that standpoint. The other thing we're seeing here is we're seeing buyers willing to pay for some of the closing costs that a seller would have. So either taxes, title, gap insurance, whatever it might be, we're seeing buyers offering to pay for that as well. So it's just getting added onto their side of the loan, which, we had that and it was beneficial. It basically makes that offer just that much stronger. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Brad, I think you want to add?
No, I think like I was going to add the point with Brian is the listing agent communication on the buyer side. It's huge. But what do you do when you can't? Sometimes you just get shitty agents. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just they probably hide themselves as the combative style of agent, the ones that just aren't going to give you anything. But I would argue that does your seller a lot of times a lot of injustice, because I've had multiple offers I've put out there when agents have called, like, hey, this is what they're looking for. Like, this is important. Of course, price is always important, right? But outside of price, here are some things that are important, including finding out if a lease back is an option. Only thing you can do when an agent's not a very, I'll just call him not a very good communicator. I think the only thing you can do there is make some assumptions. Like, maybe in your offer in the email put, by the way, if they need this, we'd be willing to do this. Like, if they need a post-closing occupancy, we'd be willing to talk about that. If they need a shorter closing, we can accommodate that. A longer closing, we can accommodate that. A home purchase contingency, we just talked about that this morning on our podcast a little bit. I'd say the other thing is if you're getting that agent doesn't communicate well, which they're definitely out there, is you just start guessing. And on your client side, the biggest thing with this type of market when it's competitive is explaining your client very detailed right away during your consult, based on the type of properties they're looking at, and say, this is going to be very competitive in what you're looking for. We will have to make quick decisions. We'll have to probably go in over ask. Don't even really look at list price, other than from just stuff that's around your budget. But you should probably look at stuff that's listed maybe well below your budget, and being prepared to come up. I think the better you do that, it's better to prepare them. That's the difference between having a client go through the process for 9 months, which I've had, and sticking with it, versus I've also had buyers in the last several years say, screw this shit, we're going to wait, right? And I think the ones that just understand it going in, they just know, like, all right, we're going to have to deal with this. It is what it is. So those are the additional things, but the communication thing's huge, obviously.
Right. I'm gonna add in, kind of tie into what you just said, Brad. I think send the expectations too. If we're not setting the expectations, I've had a couple newer buyers, first time home buyers that, think that they're approved up to 300,000, but that's not where we should be looking at, because if they go in at 300,000, they're not going to be able to compete to 325. So, I always like setting that expectation on what the market's doing, what to expect. from that standpoint, and then start looking at homes that are 260 to 275 so that you can work up to that pre-approval amount, because nothing's worse than getting in a bidding war and then figuring out you can't afford it. So I think that's something that expectations definitely help.
For sure.
And then, we talked a lot about the buyer side. How do we how do we explain the process to sellers, and how are we setting them up for the expectations?
I'll start here. I mean, for me, it's be careful, because careful how you set your expectations that they're going to get multiple offers. I think it comes down to your pricing strategy, of course. Hey, if we're pushing limits, we may not get a multiple offer. We might, but we might not. And then just even if not, I steer away from saying just expecting. I always say, hey, at this price point, I think there's a potential. It's no guarantee, but we could be in a position where we get multiple offers. Talking about how we'd like to handle that, hey, do you want to wait and, do we want to just say, hey, no, like you did, Vince, hits the market on Thursday, we're going to wait till Sunday night. So we'll respond to everything Sunday night. Do you want to less torture yourself as the agent and say Monday so you don't have to work on a Sunday night? Yeah.
Good point.
Right?
There's a long day.
Or the seller. I mean, your seller had to, Mother's Day, and they're having to, talk to you about all these offers, right? Yeah, probably not as big a deal to them. Probably more for you and your wife. And so it's just walking through the expectations of how the process will go with the if scenarios. Hey, if we get one offer, great. We'll just, we'll obviously negotiate that. If we get multiples, up to, are we getting a multiple counter? I'm a fan of multiple countering if there's, maybe a handful or less. But gets beyond that, I don't want to type up a bunch of multiple counter offers. That's just a lot of work. What's that number? Is it 3 offers? Is it 4? Is it 5? Well, what's the number where you just email them all back, go, hey, let's just go highest and best. But you got to be careful with that too. And this is where communication on the seller's agent side is contacting each of your buyer's agents and finding out, are your clients even going to want to stay in this? If we go to a highest and best, are you guys going to put in something? Because some have said no. Like, I got a couple clients right now. They have no interest in. If they said if things go to multiple, we'll just keep looking. They're just not interested, and that's, as a seller, you want to try and keep as many offers in too, as a seller's agent, right? So those are things that I like to try and do on the listing side.
Sarah or Brian, anything you want to add to that? What you guys do to set that expectation for sellers?
Yeah, I would say I do something, basically similar, especially with discussing price points. And then sometimes if you get just a couple offers, if they're similar, depending on what you have for expiration dates, if there's something you like about one, but you would take the other, like you can counter the one for what you absolutely want. And if you don't get it, fall back to plan B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely playing them off.
Absolutely.
I usually make my sellers be wary of super high offers. we have a epidemic of certain group of people running around here just making way over the top offers, and then whatever they're doing, coming back, canceling, trying to get bad inspections, maybe see if they can beat the price down below original list and things like that. So I always tell my clients to be wary of that. I had one listing where they went way over, but they offered a super high option check, which for us is guaranteed money if they cancel the contract above earnest money. So I was like, normally I would say let's vet this seller or this buyer a little better, but I mean, if they bag out on us, that's free money right there. Take it and run. So we went with the offer, and they canceled. And but we still got we still had 3 more offers after that, after they canceled. So at list. So yeah, my biggest thing is just to be wary of over, people that are, if they go too far above, And it's, I don't know if I have any set formula because each listing is different. You know, I get these listings with solar panels and that's like a death sentence, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I get the ones that are, I know are going to go fast and they're going to go high. And so that comes with a different set of instructions. So I think each one, one thing I do always kind of put in there is I try to get the motivations of the buyers, you know, because I like to share that with my sellers. I could say, hey, look, buyer A has offered, and actually I can tie this to a recent listing that I just closed on. We had 3 buyers in the race. One was kind of a little under, the other 2 were a little over. The 2 that were a little over, one was just looking for anything, right? They were just, we just need a home. We've been looking forever. We just need a home. The other loved the house. They were seeing themselves in the home. They liked the furniture that was there. They were inquiring about, you know, hey, can we get this dining room set? And so I just went to my client. I said, look, at these 2 offers, my experience is people who are seeing themselves in the home and love the home are more likely
to that printer?
You know, go easy on the inspection, repair requests, and things of that nature because they really, really want the house. These other people over here, I mean, I don't know. You know, you got to be wary because they're more liable to pick the home apart. But at the end of the day, it's your decision. You know, and he went with the ones that I kind of favored, and they literally asked for nothing. You know, they got their inspection report back. They're like, well, we love the house. We don't want to bother you. You know, we don't want to complicate the deal. We'll just take it. So I usually tell them, you know, the motivations of your buyer can be very important as to what that outcome is. So you can definitely factor that into the dollar amount as well.
Right. Yeah, that's you know, an unseen value, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have a dollar sign to it, but in the end, it really does. You just don't know what it is.
Exactly.
Do you guys, you know, Brian, Sarah, and do you guys see a lot of love letters or letters to the sellers from buyers in today's market? We're starting to see more and more of them lately with how competitive it's getting. So I'm curious to see what you guys are.
In our listing agreements, we actually have a box to check that says whether the seller wants those letters or not, because, you know, all the fair housing laws. So yeah, I had one the other day. I wrote an offer on, and the sellers didn't want to know anything about the buyers. So just depends.
Yeah,
I've had 2 deals with love letters, one to me and one from me. You know, to my clients and from my clients. Okay. So I had one, and it worked on both of them actually. So it swung the pendulum. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we found upon it here in the Dallas area. As a matter of fact, I'm almost sure that somebody said don't do it anymore, but I just let it go.
Yeah, same thing here in Wisconsin. It's frowned upon, but nowhere does it say you can't do it. It's recommended based on fair housing not to do it. And you know, I lost out on a contract because the other buyer wrote a love letter on a nice lake home, and my guy lost out, even though he was the higher offer, similar terms. The lady took the other offer because of the love letter and how she could see these parents raising their grandchildren there and all this other stuff. And I'm like, all right, that's the game we're going to start playing. So yeah,
it worked.
It did. Yeah,
sure.
I mean, moving forward, I'm going to ask all my buyers if they want to write a love letter or, you know, whatever you want to call them, but there's probably some value there. And for me, it doesn't take any extra energy. I just have to add it to the offer.
Sure.
So, call it a cover page. Okay. Anything else, Brad, on explain the process for buyers and sellers? I think that was
no, that's pretty good.
Stuff.
I mean, just always just curious how people handle those things, and I think it boils down. It sounds like summation is communication, right? I mean, the more you communicate and set the expectation with your clients, and if you can, the other agent's always the crap sheet. You never know.
Right. Yeah. So jumpstarting social media. Hey, Sarah, I got a question for you. I'm going to throw you under the bus here. Did you start Did you start your Facebook group for horses?
So I started it, and then that was kind of it.
So
Brian, to give you a little back history on that, 2 weeks ago, Sarah and I talked about, one way to get in front of more people. And I know you personally have given up on trying to drive more sellers and things like that. And so we both told each other we're going to start a Facebook group for, a group of people or something that we love. And, I love golfing. So I created a Facebook group for realtors that golf, more just to kind of help, create those relationships. And Sarah was going to do one for horses. So my realtors that love golf group only has 3 members now, but I do need to push it some more. But it's one of those things, if, the more we can get in front of people or create groups like that, we can create more of a social media presence that people are going to fall back to. So and that was one of the things. And, I don't know about you, Brian, are you real big on social media or?
I'm getting there. I was really hot up until about a couple weeks ago, and I kind of got sidetracked. So I got to get back on the saddle this week. But I started doing some other things, like with this global marketing agent, and which is kind of a social media thing. But it's not social media, but I mean social networking between agents globally. And so yeah, I've just kind of divided and spread myself thin again. I keep doing that, but that's because I keep coming across great stuff, and so it's hard to stay. I really truly just want to focus on FSBOs and expireds, and I'm having a hard time staying on task because, I mean, is everybody here with EXP, or what brokerages are you guys with?
No, Sarah's not.
No, I'm
All right,
not.
Sarah, call me later. Let's see how we can get you over to EXP.
we're already working on that,
Brian.
Brian.
We've already tried this.
You don't want to network with Brad. He's got a lot on his plate. He doesn't have time.
Damn, Brad, he just called you out. I'm not going to lie.
Sorry.
He
Sorry. I
knows.
thought we were just being friends.
He
No,
knows.
so
It's called accountability right there.
Right.
Accountability partners, right?
I really
Sarah-
just want to focus on FSBO and expires, but then agent attraction is also something that's really looming heavy on me, and I'm doing a lot on LinkedIn with that. I've got a LinkedIn program, and I literally have I'll just check here real quick. I have 45 conversations that I'm dealing with right now with other agents. So I come in the morning, I'm trying to juggle those, agent relationships. And then I'm working on this global campaign, this global marketing campaign. And then I let the social media, which I think is important, I let that kind of lax. But I'm telling you, I'm not doing enough with we can talk about it tomorrow, Brad, but I really need to center focus on FSBOs and expires, because at the end of the day, right, we have to sell houses. And if you want to attract other agents,
Right.
agents are attracted to agents that sell houses, right? It's almost like a physical attraction in the human and relationship world, right? You're attracted to things that are exciting. So, people want to be around success. People want to be around things of that nature. So,
the only thing and we can talk about it further is that you got to watch is, seasonality, just like everything else.
Yeah.
In hot markets, how many expires are actually around?
There's a bunch here.
In my market, there's like nothing.
Yeah.
Expires just like don't even exist.
Yeah, and it varies. Every winter we definitely get expireds, and I haven't looked at the report in a few weeks for expireds, but
there was 82 in the last 2 weeks, Brad.
I think that's actually pretty well for what I guess depends on how big of an area.
Right.
But if you're talking just Racine, like Western Racine County, not including the city of Racine, that's not a ton, but it's more than we had. I remember one summer few years ago, I think, gosh, I think we saw, I'm not sure if I saw 20 all summer that were truly like expired. So, that were.
Hey, I wrote nice handwritten cards after I drove around with the post lady and we checked out all these properties. So that was my homework last week. I sent cards to the properties that we found that were, semi-vacant, abandoned looking places. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get something out of that.
Yeah.
You drove around with your post lady?
Heck yeah. She picked me up from my office. We went and checked out all these properties. It was quite the little fun field trip.
That's
Small
interesting.
town, man. You know everybody here. I went to school with their kids.
So, hey, Brian, I'm going to let me touch on that. So I do a lot of social media. Brad, he doesn't do as much, but thanks to our VA, he's doing more of it. But, to kind of talk about you going
outsource that shit.
Outsource your social media if you can. FSBOs and expireds. The more you're on social media using LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and joining those different groups, the more you can get in front of them, right? Keep in mind, if you call them up as an expired, and you say, hey, this is Brian with EXP, blah, blah, blah. They're like, shit, I just saw this guy's post, how he's, just got $10,000 over list price or, closed the home in 22 days. Right. It's all relevant to the game you're trying to get into. But if you're not in front of them, you're just going to be another person calling them. So, my recommendation is outsource it. Have you outsourced anything, Brian?
No, I mean, I've tried outsourcing social media, but every time I try to outsource it, they always hit me up for a bunch of information. It's like, well, why the hell am I outsourcing it if I got to provide you photos and all this other stuff that you want me to do? Just take over my Facebook page and run it,
Yeah.
So I've never found a good outsourcing option for that. I was on fire there for a while. I mean, I would get up in the morning and I've got LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and list reports all open, shareable social media posts, copy paste, done. Have a closing, copy paste, done.
Yep.
But
so with that being said, so we outsource, our VA does our social media for us.
What is VA? Well, virtual assistant.
Virtual assistant. So we have a virtual assistant that handles a lot of our tedious tasks. So she reaches out to she does FSBOs. So we have a program on our team website that will allow FSBOs to get a rough estimate of how much their home is worth. And then it kind of will, if they wanted to use the for sale by owner platform, they can use that platform and they can schedule showings for their house, upload photos, everything. And then it creates a hyperlink so that they can share that link to potential buyers so that they can see it kind of like an MLS listing. So she reaches out, she goes through Facebook every day and looks for FSBOs in, 200-mile radius of where we're at to go after them. Now we're just starting that, but my point is, where I was going with this is I probably spend about an hour a week doing exactly what you just talked about, pictures, things like that. And I upload them to a Google folder and she then creates social media posts for like the next 2 weeks out of it. And yes, it's a little bit of my time, but that hour a week to create 2 weeks worth of social media posts is awesome. Or if we have a new listing or something, we'll pull a couple of the pictures and then she creates the template in Canva and uploads it to our social media. Same thing with like under contract or just sold. So, if you can outsource it, I would recommend it. If time is, if you're juggling, okay, what's more important, having those physical conversations or posting on social media at 4 a.m, that's where you got to decide what's of value to you.
Well, we don't have any numbers to back this data up though, too, Vince, but we've been running the Facebook ads for a while and we were getting a good amount of leads. I feel like we remember getting 1, 2, 3 a week. And I don't know if this, again, no data to back this up, but then once we started having our VA do just the regular posting, I think that helps our traffic. And then along with the ads, we're now getting several Facebook leads a day. So I just feel like there's some sort of contribution there from just getting your name recognition out there, and then they're seeing the ads and getting more pops that way.
Yeah.
More leads.
You know, I felt like it was super cheesy to post that listing that I had on one of the marketplace pages, but I actually got great feedback and lots of messages, and I don't see anybody else doing it. So
yeah, exactly. Like anytime you can do stuff that nobody else is doing, always helps a ton, right?
Oh, and Brian, I'll throw this in there too. You want to go after recruiting, right? You understand that the passive income through recruiting is essential with EXP. And one of the things we're having our VA do right now is she's creating I think there's 15 in my list, different templates on YEXP, and I'm going to share them across social platforms. And I'm going to tag other brokerages. So I'm going to tag Caldwell Bankers, Keller Williams, Shore West, Bear Realty, all these other brokerages that I want to get in front of and see why EXP is, for some as good as it is, right? Some people, I truly think on your sponsorship, your sponsor and your upline is going to tell you, if you have a crappy sponsor and a crappy upline, EXP may not work for you, but if you have that support, so using social media to add hashtags to, FSBO, expired, other brokerages, there's also value there too for you.
Yeah. Well, I've got I shared it with Brad. I don't know if he's looked into it much, but I started this program called Connected, KENNECTED.
Yeah, I told Vince about it.
Yeah,
he's heard of it.
So I've been making, like I said, I mean, you got to find agents with, similar, for instance, I'm targeting veteran, because I'm a Navy veteran. So I'm targeting agents with, military experience or spouses or anything like that. I'm just kind of doing that search. And the difference is I'm getting tons of connections through it, and people that are, having open conversations, and they're telling me about their business, what they have, what they don't have. And it's like any other, they're in the funnel now, right?
Yep.
So just developing those relationships. It's been very successful for me. So now another guy that's using it's not having as much success because he doesn't really have any, he doesn't do real estate, number one. He just attracts agents.
Oh.
So he's finding it hard to, have the similarities that he can connect with other like-minded agents. So if you have that avenue, like golfers, agents who are like super great at golfing and love horses, maybe polo, right? So you could probably go in there and just do something with real estate and golf and see what that pulls up, and go that route, or horses or whatever.
We love that.
So Brian,
do it.
So Brian, let me pick your brain a little bit. This Connected program, I didn't fully look into it. What's the cost associated with that?
$107 a month.
How much? 107?
Yeah, and can I tell you, I had an agent from Boca Raton send me a buyer.
Huh. Okay.
She was like, she just responded. So you basically set up your messages, right? And it runs a drip campaign. Yep. And then as you get a response, the drip turns off and you take over. And this one agent, she just responded. She's like, well, I can do you one better. I got a buyer for you. How about that? And she sent me a buyer.
Wouldn't be yeah, we should definitely look at that. I think what you're doing there is great. Whether you're recruiting or you're getting leads, I mean, it's a win-win, right?
Yeah.
Just
many agents I've really dialed in. Like the first campaign was military, veteran, Caldwell Banker. Coldwell Banker because I've worked at Coldwell Banker, so I know what's going on over there, right? And then my next campaign will probably be veteran Keller Williams or something like that, and but yeah, so
What?
Who's,
So how do you spell it again, Brian?
KENNECTED. Connected.
Connected. Oh yeah,
it was 107 a month, right?
Yeah, connectedreach.io is the website that I'm on.
I found it.
And what was the you've got a referral, you said, right?
Yeah, I had this agent, it was like caught me totally off guard. And she sent me a referral from Boca Raton. She's like, well, I'll do you one better, Brian. I got a buyer referral for you. I was like, all right. So right there, it paid for itself.
Yeah, are you still working with the buyer? Did you close the buyer?
Yeah, well, it's brand new. It's a brand new relationship. It just came out of nowhere.
What's their budget?
3 to 5. So
it paid for itself. Plus,
yeah, I wasn't even in the way EXP rev share works. I mean, if you get one agent over a 12-month span, it paid for itself. If you get one capping agent, over a 12-month span, I mean, it pays for itself. So, and I'm certainly building up my LinkedIn network that I never ever paid attention to. So,
yeah, we should definitely look at that. Just
so it's all connected through LinkedIn then, right?
Yeah, and so they actually it's a CRM basically. I know that's what we all need, right? Is another CRM. But I haven't really explored it too much more. I'm just kind of looking at it while I'm talking to you guys. You can connect it to, I think it actually can connect to KV Core as well. Don't quote me on that, but I know it connects to a lot of other CRM. So you can download your agent leads into your regular everyday CRM, but it also just runs like a CRM as well. Yeah. So you got to be real careful. One thing I found out I got messed up is I got the connected. I always keep it open on my computer, and then I ran, running that, and then they communicate to me through LinkedIn, and I accidentally answer them on my phone. And so then when I go to connect it, it doesn't register the conversation that I answered directly. So like you could talk to them through the CRM, but if you talk to them directly through LinkedIn, it doesn't, share that conversation. So you'll get lost in your conversation. So you gotta just choose one avenue, which connected, just communicate through them. They take over they don't take it over, but that works through your LinkedIn account. Okay. And it does everything for you. It's pretty awesome.
And then do you do the basic, or what do you have, basic, advanced?
So I think I pay for advanced. I think that's what the 107 is.
Okay. Yeah. It doesn't show me the pricing. It just says book demo. So I didn't know, but that is the one with the email automation is the advanced. So,
yeah.
And do you have to set up your own drip campaign, or they help you with that?
They do a training. You set it up. They do a training. They show you, and their support's really good. I mean, I call the guy all the time if I have an issue or whatever, or a question. They're pretty good about answering, and they've got all kinds of instructional videos, and they do an onboarding training to show you how to set up your campaigns. And it's pretty simple. And I'm like the worst when it comes to technology. So if I can do it, I know you guys can do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Technology doesn't scare me, obviously.
Have your virtual assistant do it.
Exactly. Right. I mean, or I get up at 4 a.m. I do it. I can just communicate at 4 a.m. But, and the other thing too, Brian, kind of going into the social media, the other thing you can do is use a platform called Later. I don't know if you've heard of it. Mm-hmm. It helps with you can spend, if you want to do your social media yourself, you can spend, say, an hour in the morning and schedule all of your posts for the week. And they'll automatically, post for you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And you can put comments, you can put, like if you want to heart a certain one. So, because I don't know if you know much about the algorithms that go with any social media, but the more you have likes on something, the more you have like views or comments,
Yeah.
it actually, increases how many people it gets in front of. So with later, you can then put in your own comment if you wanted. So you have one comment already in there. You can also like heart it or put a smiley face on it so that that process is already started. So
Is it LATER or is it spelled funny?
Yep. No, that's it. That's it. And it's so we pay $40 a month for it, but that's because we have 3 users. I think they have a cheaper version that's maybe $10 a month for 1 user. So but it's another way to just kind of, if you're going to stay with the process, and that's what our VA uses. She uses that platform for us. And she, spends, because she does it for both Brad and I, she spends a little more time on it, but it's a great way to kind of take care of it all at once. So you don't have to worry about doing it every morning, first thing in the morning. You can schedule time and do it for the whole week or the whole month, whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
And it syncs with them all. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Am I missing one? I think there's like 4 or 5. But yeah, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I like
That's
it.
good. Good to know.
Yeah.
Later. All right.
Yeah. Sarah, anything you want to add to social media? Sorry, Brad.
I was just gonna say later. A lot of people know Hootsuite. Hootsuite's been a more popular one that does the same thing as later. If you've ever heard of Hootsuite, but it's way easier to manage your entire social media platform from one space. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like my use of social media isn't necessarily a ton of posting, but I do try to make an effort to engage with other people. If I make a comment on their post, sometimes I'll, ask them a question like, oh, where were you guys? Or how long did it take you to do that? Or did you make it yourself? Or is this your business? Things like that. And I feel like people remember you when you make them feel special.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, to that point, like every day we do happy birthdays through Facebook and LinkedIn. Because obviously if you're not in their algorithm right now, you wish them a happy birthday, all of a sudden you're now pushed into the algorithm because you're someone that saw their post. So just another way, to Sarah's point of, I try to do the same thing, engage with as many people as possible. If it's like, oh, looks like a fun weekend, where'd you guys go? Or happy Mother's Day, looks like you had a blast at Grand Geneva brunch, whatever it might be. Just one way to stay connected with them besides just throwing those social posts out there, because sometimes those social posts get overseen or, get bypassed, right? No one cares about it. So I try to mix kind of, I would say for me, probably a 60-40 mix between personal and business related, because I want them to engage with me also.
Mhm.
So that's also, if we're not getting them to engage, then they're not going to remember us as a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What about YouTube? Do you use YouTube at all, Brian?
No, not just for my volleyball team.
You coach volleyball?
Yeah.
Where at?
Over at my daughter's team, the 8U team. We're gonna be 10U next year. We got a big tournament this weekend. I'm expecting a trophy.
Nice. What up? What
my
club?
girls, I either want tears or a trophy. If you don't give me a trophy, you better be crying. And if you're not crying and I don't have a trophy, that means you showed up for no reason.
This guy is ruthless.
Well, we keep saying we're the best, but we don't have the hardware to prove it. So it's like, if we're the best, it's time to prove it.
Yeah. What volleyball club?
Oh, we're our own team. It's not
your own team.
Yeah,
Okay.
We're
Nice.
not a club team, but we are set in stone. So my girls
Well, good luck this weekend.
Oh yeah, they're fired up. They're ready. So.
And you said it's
That's
10U, so you got a bunch of like.
It's 8U. We're going 10U next year. So
that is young. Good for you.
Hopefully you've got, they're all wearing your jerseys, right?
Oh yeah, we got it. Strikers, let's go.
with strikers. Wait a minute, but it doesn't have like your real estate, not sponsored by Brian EXP agent or anything like that.
No.
What?
Come on.
So,
Killing
so
me.
so you're telling me next season I should buy all their jerseys and put my marketing on it?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
How many teams are you looking at? How many tournaments you guys go to?
No, I mean, well, we play every weekend, so it's like, yeah, I mean, we're always.
That's a missed opportunity right there.
Yeah, I guess I could.
Yeah. I mean, and it really, it could just like, if you don't want to be like too
practical?
over the top, just like on the sleeve or something, right?
Yeah.
That.
Oh no, you got to be able to read those from the stands. Like a big circle on the back.
I just put, did you enjoy this volleyball game? Please call Brian Scobie for all your real estate needs. Just write it on the back of there. Just make it real big letters so they have to
Right.
can't not read it, right?
Yeah, I mean, their number has to be so big. You got the rest of the space to do whatever you want.
Right all over to where people just like, you see somebody with a tattoo that has a lot of words, you just have to read it, right?
Yeah, you're just kind of stuck there. You're stuck gazing the whole time, right? So
yeah.
same thing.
So, but yeah, no, I don't do anything with YouTube yet. It's so much. I'm like a one-man show right now. You know, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I have a problem with overloading myself. You know, oh, look at this new shiny toy. Look at this one. Look at now I got all these shiny toys out and don't have time to play with all of them. So
yeah. You know,
one of my favorite like podcast quotes was the lady who talked about like the buffet. You don't need everything in the buffet. You need 3 good things. That's it. And I feel like it's true. You want to pick 3 good things and stick with them and do them consistently and do them well. Like I don't do a ton of advertising. I really do spend a lot of effort trying to actually get in front of people. Like your volunteer stuff, your coaching. I mean, I'm on our football board. I do merchandise at the football games. And so I'm literally sitting out there where everybody walks by me. It's like 500 people.
yeah.
I do a lot of that.
Well, a lot of the other coaches hate me though, you know, so.
I'm not super salesy, so it's great for me because people just like to chat. I am chatty. And, people ask and it comes naturally great. People do. Kind of have your little script of the things that you ask. You ask people how work's going and they reciprocate that question. And, if it comes up, it comes up.
Yeah. Like, sorry for the beat down my girls just laid on your team, but planning on moving anytime in the near future?
You don't want to be soliciting yourself to the opposing team. You gotta focus on your people.
Oh yeah, no. My whole team, my parents are well aware of my career. They're always asking me questions.
I like that strategy, Brian. I think it worked really well. Hey, sorry for the beat down. Guys looking to move. I like that a lot. I think you
shouldn't show yourself. I wouldn't want to show myself around the neighborhood. You might want to consider relocating. By the way, did you know I'm a realtor?
I think you should totally stick with that one. I like that one a lot. So I think it works. Go with what works.
Yeah, we'll figure that out tomorrow.
All right. Well, it's just now a little bit before 2. Does anybody have anything else before we cut out? Just want to be respectful of everyone's time.
Is this every Monday like what you're talking about, or is it a different subject every Monday?
Different subject every Monday. And typically, I'm not sure, Brian, if you want, I can add you to our email list, and every Monday it's a new subject. So,
well, it's on my calendar. I clicked on it.
Oh, okay.
We're thinking we've had conversations about moving it to 30 minutes. So just like boom, quick, couple subjects. I don't know. We'll see. We've been sticking with an hour, but we definitely want to get the attendance level up more consistently. So
yeah, but yeah, it is every Monday, Brian. It's the subject changes every week.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, and I did figure it out. Like I was going to go to the pregame accountability best practices on Vulcan, and I thought that's what I was clicking on. I saw Brett. I was like, whoa.
Yes, we got another one.
Brett. Let's go. Anyway.
All right. Well, it was good talking to everyone. Thank you for a good conversation today, and we'll see everyone next week.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Hey, Brad, call me real quick.
No.